What's going on, Giants fans? In today's show, we're going to go game by game and see which games the Giants are going to win and maybe if they lose a game or two. But before we do, the NFL season's right around the corner, which means rivalry games are almost here. And I want to know which NFC East team grinds your gears the most. For me, I work in Dallas, I live in Dallas, so it's probably the Dallas Cowboys. But maybe if you live in Philly and you're a Giants fan, or maybe you live in Jersey and you're a Giants fan, you hate the Eagles the most, or maybe you're just an OG in the Washington, can't really say their team name, football team, Commanders, whatever it is. Maybe you just don't like them. Which one do you hate the most? Type WAS for Washington, DAL for the Cowboys, or PHI for the Philadelphia Eagles. You are watching New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. A record prediction video is on tap today because yesterday the NFL released the 2023 NFL schedules, and we have the Giants in front of us. So we're going to go game by game and tell you what we like and dislike about some of the opponents. But I think it's important to maybe give myself some credibility when it comes to this, because last year I had the Giants winning 9-8. We did this same video on the same exact day last year, and I had the Giants going 9-8 and being a wild card team, barely sneaking by and making the playoffs. And even I kind of underestimated them because they did make the playoffs, and they didn't really have to sweat it out too much. So 9-8 last year is what they had them. I'll tell you what I have them coming up in a second this year. But some quick notes from the schedule. And honestly, I hate the New York Giants schedule. I think they got handed the bad end of the stick. And I feel like it is not a schedule that is set up for success. First off, they have the third toughest based schedule off of 2022 win percentages, but that's just what happens when you play in the NFC East and you play the AFC East. So I'm not too upset about that. Just that's what comes around, goes around. But a problem I do have is you have 6 primetime games. You might say, yeah, Marshall, we have 5 primetime games. But look, if you play on Christmas and it's not on a Sunday, that's a primetime football game. So I have the Giants at 6 primetime games. And personally, as a fan, I like the 1 o'clock tip-off games where I can just kick-off games. I can just wake up, watch the games, and the games are over with. No pressure, and not everybody in the world is watching. I do not like primetime football games. And on top of those 6 primetime games, you have 5 playoff teams that you play in the first 6 games of the season. So a very, very tough start for the New York Giants and Brian Daboll in year 2 as the head coach. And then probably the biggest gripe I have is you have 7 road games in the first 11 weeks of the NFL season, and you do that against 5 playoff teams, and you have 4 primetime games in those first 11 weeks. A really, really tough start for the Giants. But probably my biggest gripe is very similar to last year. You play the Eagles twice in the final 3 weeks of the season. So it's tough at the start, it's hard in the middle, and it ends with maybe the best roster in the National Football League. So some gripes that I have before maybe I get a little bit positive about this schedule prediction. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section. What do you think the Giants are going to do when it comes to wins and losses? I want you to predict their record down in the comment section right now. Week 1, you're beating the Dallas Cowboys at MetLife Stadium. Week 1, Sunday Night Football. It just feels right. This feels like a statement game for Brian Daboll, and I feel like you really got to start off this season on a strong foot because, as you see, it doesn't get much easier after week 2, which I also have the Giants winning this ball game. I have the Giants starting 2-0. I believe this game will be a little bit more tough than a lot of people think. You know, you're probably thinking you can roll in to Arizona and just curb stop and steamroll the Arizona Cardinals, but after a big momentum win on Sunday Night Football, it might be a little slow start against Arizona, but I do have them winning that ball game. Unfortunately, I have them receiving their first loss of the season. A quick turnaround to go on a Sunday to a Thursday Night Football game on the road against the 49ers. I think you can win that ball game. We've seen in the past the San Francisco 49ers have started slow in seasons past. They lost to the Chicago Bears last year earlier in the season. Maybe Sam Darnold will be under center if Brock Purdy's still hurt. Winnable game, but I have them losing this one. But I have them getting right back on track in week 4. Monday Night Football. Look at this. Sunday night, Thursday night, Monday night, all in the first 4 weeks. I had the Giants beating the Seattle Seahawks. A little revenge from last year. Hopefully we don't have a punt returner drop 2 punts Richie James like he did against the Seahawks this past year, but I have them getting a win and going 3-1 in those first 4. Then I have them losing at the Miami Dolphins in Week 5. It's a winnable game. Giants are a good enough team to win all these games, but you're going to lose some games. That's just the nature of the sport. And I have them losing this game. I think that their offense is going to have some good points put up against the New York Giants defense. And then in Week 6, I have you losing another game. I think this one's going to be tight. It's going to be the Daboll and the Joe Shane revenge games against the Buffalo Bills. Like, it'll come down to the wire, but I just think right now the Buffalo Bills roster is a little bit better than the Giants. Back-to-back losses for the Giants, but luckily you get to play the Washington Commanders in Week 7 and get right back on track. What do I have to say about Washington? You got to beat them. Dan Schneider's gone, and they're not a good football team. Got to win that football game, and I think they will. One of my favorite games of the season, though, is going to be Week 8 when the Giants beat Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. That's a win for Big Blue to show that we are still the big dog, the top dog, and the big bro in New Jersey and New York. Aaron Rodgers, you can't just come to the city when you're getting close to retirement and try to act like you're some superhero, because you're not, and you're not going to be able to be the best team in New York. That's the Giants and Daniel Jones's position. I had the Giants winning Week 7 and 8 after they dropped 5 and 6. We'll break down the rest of the schedule coming up in a second, but maybe you're new to the channel. I want to let you guys know what we do here at Giants Now by Chat Sports. We put out videos every single day about the latest Giants news and rumors, and we also go live for every single game day during the season. Our watch parties are awesome, and I want you guys to be a part of it. So go down right now, hit that big red sub button, and help us get to 29,000 subs. All righty, here we go, where the schedule actually becomes a little bit decent. Week 9 at the Las Vegas Raiders. I expect a big game for Darren Waller. You know, he's got a chip on his shoulder after Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler traded him from coast to coast as he came back from his honeymoon with Kelsey Plum. Big game for the Giants, especially Darren Waller. Give me a dub. I had the Giants winning in Week 1 against the Dallas Cowboys, so I got them losing in Week 10. Usually what I like to do in these divisional games when I'm predicting schedules is cut them in half. You get 3 wins and you get 3 losses, and that's why I also have them losing Week 11 to the Washington Commanders. Look, sure, you can beat the Washington Commanders twice, and I expect the Giants to beat the Commanders twice. But sometimes in the NFL, you lose to the team that you're supposed to beat, and I think the Commanders may be one of those sneaky losses, unfortunately, for the New York Giants. Week 12. Always a staple and a very memorable game when the Giants play the New England Patriots. And shout out to Jake Bauer. Never can give him enough credit for what he did in those games. But I have him winning and beating Mac Jones and Bill Belichick. And then we get to the bye in Week 13. Then you got the home stretch of the schedule. At this point in my record prediction, the Giants will be right in the thick of things of being a playoff team. They'd still be battling for a wild card spot. Job's not finished. Let's get healthy in Week 13. But since the real ones are probably the only ones still watching right now, I want to let you guys know that we got a deal going on right now. The Giants said they're going to wear these jerseys in the 2023 season, so we're putting them back on the shelves. Get yours today, the throwback jerseys at chatsports.com/Giants throwback. We got the Daniel Jones jerseys. We got the Saquon Barkley, the Xavier McKinney's. I saw Michael Strahan and OCU Minora. We got all of the Giants legends up there that you guys should go and get as they're going to rock these jerseys again this upcoming season. Do it right now. Chatsports.com/Giants throwback. Week 14, Monday Night Football against the Green Bay Packers. Not as much eyeballs and attention is going to this Monday Night Football game because Aaron Rodgers is not there anymore. No more Brett Favre. But the Giants are going to win this ball game, and they're going to get rolling here in the second half of this season. I got another win, Week 15, as the Giants travel down to the boot. Shout out Wheezy. But no home cooking for you, my man. The Giants are coming down there, and they're looking to get a win as they then travel to Philadelphia in Week 16 on Christmas. But it looks like the Giants got cold from good old St. Nick. Eagles are going to be tough. I think they're going to be a division repeat winner for one of the first. Well, that'll be the first time in a long time the NFC East has had a repeat winner. I think the Eagles are going to do that. Unfortunately, I hate them, but I just still think the Giants are just not as good of a roster right now as the Philadelphia Eagles. Week 17, I got to win versus the L.A. Rams. I think the Rams at this point in the season could be looking to pack it up for Caleb Williams and try to get to the top of the NFL draft to get a quarterback. I think they'll be bad this year, and I believe Week 17 will be a win for the Giants. I had the Giants losing in Week 16 Oh, I wanted to have them win that ball game so bad in Week 18, but I just can't right now. Can they beat the Eagles? Yes, but everything I have learned or known about the sport of football, Giants just are not a better team. You don't have to be the better team to win. Maybe just play better that day. And they could do that. I will not be shocked. But unfortunately, I have them losing to the Eagles twice in 3 weeks, which means I have the Giants at 10-7, which I believe will be good enough to clinch a wild card spot. So I got them at 10-7. Do you have them over or under 9.5 wins? Obviously, I got them over. I got them at 10-7. That's what I'm rolling with. What about you? 9.5 wins, over, under. Sound off for me. You know what to do. So I did this last year when I did 9-8 for the New York Giants. I said their ceiling was 10 wins. Their floor was 6 or 7 wins. And this is what I think it is this year. I think the floor for the Giants is 8 wins. I think best case scenario, you could win 12 games. Maybe you beat Washington both times. Maybe you steal one against the Philadelphia Eagles. Maybe you beat the Miami Dolphins or the Buffalo Bills. Maybe you beat the San Francisco 49ers early on in the season on Thursday Night Football. There's definitely a way for them to win 10-plus games. There's absolutely a way where they can win 8 games. Maybe even 7, but I think this is where they're going to fall in between. I got them at 10-7. I can't wait for this freaking season, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. Not going to be easy, though, in year 2 for Brian Daboll. Appreciate everyone for tuning in here on a Friday afternoon. We appreciate it. I got a little sick this week, so I didn't get to get as many videos out on the channel as I wanted to. But I'm feeling better. Going to try to get 2 videos more for this weekend. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. And remember, you can always give me a follow over on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. And we can talk more New York Giants football over there.